Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of First Look. So in this video, I'll be doing First Look UFC Fight Night, Dern versus Hill. So gonna be different, I guess, going forward. I thought like the concept, what the purpose behind this video is not really, doing the purpose behind this video is like was really too much different from I guess my other videos, my other quick videos. Then you get people start saying like, is this how do you have like 3 different prediction videos or something like that? And even though I, clearly state that this is just an rough draft, so these aren't my final picks, like 1,000 times in these videos. And then, the quick picks and the full card predictions, those are my actual final predictions, like my final pick. Like I'm picking this fighter right here, it ain't changing. Then you can see on my IG and my Twitter, the picks will be matched the same. So only really this video is video that you don't follow is a case of this is an actual prediction video. This is a rough draft prediction video, or at least it was a rough draft prediction video. And the main reason I did create this video was one more content, I guess. And the other thing was it gives me a chance to, throw out where my thoughts are at originally, and help give a little space for, conversation, debate, whatever not, intel gathering from, subscribers, people that just tune in and say, wait, this guy got injured, she's actually a 9-time national champion wrestler or junior wrestling champion, like or some stuff. People have their random intel, or maybe they train with the person, and that was supposed to draw those people out to give their intel or intel gathering. And it worked for like the first 3 cards that I did it. But after that, the people just started just saying like, "Whoa, I like the picks. I agree with this. I agree with that," which is cool and all. I like those comments as well. But it wasn't the case of it's gathering actual intel. Just more so me just letting people know my first initial picks, and also it was easier to just throw it out there because again, it was my final picks. I could just look, I just think blah blah blah. Just run through the card and just throw out my picks or throw out where my picks are at, because it's not like a case I had to actually be the pick where I really went in detail and really did my video studying and tape footage, taping and such. Well, yeah, tape study. It wasn't that video, or this video wasn't that. So it wasn't the case I had to, sometimes to be by like the end of the week, sometimes because I've been still looking at fights and trying to come down to my final picks. I could throw it out there because again, they weren't my final picks. But yeah, regardless, again, it's not doing what it's supposed to do anyway. So hey, you find new ways to reinvent yourself or to change things around, and regardless of whatever caused it or whatever this is or whatever multiple reasons caused it, and just make another interesting concept or just reinvent the wheel for a concept. And that's what I'm doing. So 3 minutes into the video, basically, I just kind of gave you an introduction and why, it's going to be a little bit different. And now I think going forward, at least for the time being, it's going to be me looking at the picks and kind of like give my opinion on the fights. Actually, that was kind of how it was originally, like very originally. I wasn't even giving literally no picks at all in the video. I was just like saying how I feel about the fight. Maybe like, might lean to this guy more, but I wasn't saying, oh, I'm picking this fighter. That was not that. It was even an initial prediction. It was just me just saying how I feel about the fights and not even picking an actual fighter. Then the other fights with other like quick picks and full card predictions, I would give my actual picks and wouldn't just be like, I'm feeling this, feeling that. But yeah, let's get to the picks. So well, not the picks, but let's get to the how I feel about these fights and also give you some maybe betting potential placement, like because right now I don't think all the bets, or at least on where I mainly bet off is BetMGM. I don't think the picks, all the bets and props aren't really out there. It kind of takes a while, like really like Wednesday, Thursday before they come in. So I'm not even going based off. I'm not even looking at no stat sheet or nothing. I'm not looking at no bet insight right now. I'm kind of say most likely outcomes or kind of gauge where I would go with this fight. Based off this in my head, where I would see possible outcomes to end this fight or for these fights to to end, decision, knockout, and such. So I could I guess tell you better than I could tell you what this broadly speaking tell you. So when I actually look at the fight or actually start talking about the fight. So yeah, first fight we got in the welterweight division. We got Takashi Sato versus Demba Garimbo. And this fight, I'm not gonna say I even have a good idea of it just yet. I really don't know which way to lean with this fight yet. It's like Demba Garimbo might be able to wrestle him, maybe. Demba Garimbo might be able to, I don't know. I don't really know with Demba Garimbo, like he's an X factor. He could definitely coming in out of nowhere and just maybe crack Takashi Sato, knock him out with a wild punch. Could maybe go out and just look to take Takashi Sato down and hold him down potentially. But it's like when I look at Demba Garimbo, I just don't really see true skills. I see like a physical guy that don't have really all the skills. Yeah, I see like Takashi Sato like a one-handed fighter, but he does like a will around his skill or like at least a prior, outside the UFC level, like he's a well-rounded fighter. Like in the UFC, obviously you fighting better guys from different organizations, different parts of the world, and you got guys that's like more complete and better overall. But it does seem like he is a complete fighter. He might just be a one-handed fighter. Not saying he literally has one hand, but got one hand threat. He's definitely looking for that one hand punch, that one straight, whatnot. But it does seem like he has good all-rounded skills, at least for UFC. Whereas Garimbo, like it just looks very rough and raw. So with stuff like that, are you gonna lean to Garimbo? He did take down his last opponent like more times than he took him down. He was a decent rusher with AJ Fletcher. So I don't know. In the distance might be a good prop, but then it could easily be a case where Garimbo just holds on for dear life, maybe to get a decision on him. But yeah, it has finishing potential on both sides. So it's like it could easily go. Oh, I think if Sato wins, I think it'll be decision. I mean, if Sato wins, I think it'll be a stoppage. If Garimbo wins, it could be a stoppage or decision. Because it's like Garimbo, like I said, he's that kind of wild, uncorked fighter, that unpolished fighter. So you don't know if he can come in sharper now and then like stronger, and got that first fight out the way now. He come in here with a smart strategy on and striking sharper. His defense sharpens up. You don't know. I feel like Sato, I don't think much improvement gonna come from him. We have seen his sub defense tighten up. But we haven't really seen his offensive grappling really sharpen up, or at least he haven't had the opposition to show that. So two guys that you really don't know about, especially on Garimbo's side. He's such a wild card. So yeah, wild card right there. Then the next fight we have in, let's see, the women's flyweight division. We got Victoria Leonardo versus Natalia Silva. More of a short pick right here. Well, more of a short fight right here. But yeah, Leonardo, if she's gonna win, it's gonna be like by decision. I don't think she's not knocking no one out. She's not submitting no one. Best thing she could hope is a decision. Maybe she get some takedowns and hold Natalia Silva down, is win the positional battle. But I think Natalia Silva should be the better submission grappler, the better wrestler, definitely the better striker. So definitely looking at more so leaning in the distance for Natalia Silva, and probably leaning more so TKO. Leonardo's a decent enough grappler, so she probably won't get subbed. It's definitely on the table, but I think leaning more TKO for Natalia Silva, more so second round. Maybe under 1.5 is a good one here. And if I guess you hedge, only way Leonardo going to win is by decision. Like throw a general decision out there, probably gonna get around the same odds. Like you kind of worried that it's Natalia. I mean, if you're kind of worried that Leonardo's going to pull off an upset and the value on Silva is too high, maybe just lean general decision, because Natalia Silva could definitely win a decision. She could win a knockout, she could win a sub, she could win a decision. But Leonardo's only path to victory is by decision. And if decision probably like plus 400, plus 500 or something like that, that's not a bad hedge at all. At all. Especially, got a solid parlay you already working with, and you could just stitch that on. And again, if Natalia Silva just happens to end up winning this, and you still hit. If Victoria Leonardo wins, she only will win by decision. You're trying to head in case that she somehow pulls off some upset, she will only win by decision. And yeah, it hits regardless of if Natalia Silva ends up going to decision and winning. It's a decision victory. Who's most likely going to win? If Leonardo, and only path to victory again, decision. So. But again, it's not like, oh my gosh, there's such a great odds that it's going to go to decision or such a great thing, but it's a hedge. Probably put a little pinch of money, maybe throw the same parlay you got Natalia Silva on, but take her off of it and then just stitch in a decision, but with less money, because obviously it might be a plus 400 for a fight to go to decision. Might be. I'm just speculating. I'm not sure. Then the next fight we got in the lightweight division, we got Chase Hooper versus Nick Fiore. Another fight's kind of hard to gauge. Probably likely going to go to decision. Likely going to decision we're here. Either way. Nick Fiore seems like he got a lot of skills, but just don't have the level of opposition yet. His last opponent was pretty decent. He put on good effort against him. But he did get taken out a good couple times. He did get held down a lot in that fight. But it's not like Chase Hooper got that grown man strength. Yeah, he's not really that strong. He probably more of a technical grappler, a submission grappler than his previous opponent. But is he going to be able to take him down and hold him down? Does he really have any threat on the feet? It's a questionable matchup. They match up pretty well. Chase Hooper obviously has had much more UFC experience, and he's 2 years younger, 23 versus 25. But Fiore seems like he's the more technical striker. He is the truer lightweight, whereas Chase Hooper just kind of just hey, why not? Just jumped up to 55, randomly, or maybe hit a growth spurt or something. Maybe he got a little bit of muscle mass on him. He decided I'll go up to 55 or something. Maybe he got tired of cutting weight. Who knows? But it's just a lot of weird stuff on Chase Hooper's side, and he's been inconsistent, win, lose. So maybe he come off loss and wins. It's how do you look at this fight? It's Fiore, it's he didn't look like he just laid down for his last opponent, and he had his moments in the fight, but it's also kind of a case of his opponent came in trying to knock him out, and then just ended up just beating him with the little bit of energy he had left, and the only what he had to do use his veteran experience and such to just get a win over Fiore. It was a case of, I don't know, Fiore really was any threat to him. It was yeah, Fiore was just tough enough and wasn't just going to lay down for him. That's all. It wasn't a case like he showed such great skill. So it's a fight that's very 50-50 right now. It's looking like kind of look like you probably lean a little more to Fiore right now, but I guess the best option one is decision. Like I think Fiore's tough. He's skilled in grappling. It's not like Fiore's some big finisher either. So it's like, is he gonna finish Chase Hooper? Probably not. Probably fight likely go to decision regardless. And yeah, that's probably your best chance to hit in that one, or maybe you're over in case some guy pulls off some miracle comeback finish. So yeah, decision looking like the best option here. Now to the next fight we have in the heavyweight division, we got Ilir Latifi versus Rodrigo Nascimento. And interesting fight right here. Like decision could be very likely, two heavyweights that aren't really the most active, as far as going for the finish and whatnot. And plus Latifi getting up there in age and talking about retirement. In fact, he did retire after his last fight. Now he's decided to, continue fighting. So you don't know. And typically when they come back for retirement or dinking retirement, they're likely going to lose their next fight. So it's an interesting match right here. I think general wise, looking at this fight, it's not like Nascimento is the greatest striker. It does like Latifi has shown more knockout power and more striking to him, but Nascimento is the truer heavyweight and has been fighting heavyweight more. It's also not like Latifi has the best arsenal of strikes, and also like who has been knocking out at heavyweight, or who has he really been rocking at heavyweight? At light heavyweight, he was dropping a lot of people, rocking a lot of people. But at heavyweight, it's like his power isn't, translated the same, because obviously, you're going from 205 to 265. People don't really respect that as much. It's jumping from 10, 15 pounds or even 4 pounds in boxing between weight classes. But also they act like jumping from 205 to 265 is like, oh, that's so the thing. It's right there. In reality, that's probably the hardest jump, or should be the hardest jump in all of sports, all of combat sports. You jumping from fighting 205 guys to guys that's like 60 pounds bigger. We got to say, oh, they just not cutting weight. But then you got some people that's 265 and they cut in, that's over 265 and they cut in 265. So it's literally the biggest jump. You can't try to make skills this, skills that. That's the biggest jump in the game. So you find guys that's like the power, also they're not cutting weight as well. So it's different things. You got guys that's literally bigger than you, biggest guys you can find out there, and make that weight. And yeah, they're bigger than you, and they not cutting weight or not cutting as much weight. So they eating those shots a lot better than the people that are 205. That's maybe on the bigger side for 205, but still nowhere near as big as the guy that's big for 265. And they eating your punches like more than they would at 205, because they big too in a sense, but not nearly as big, and they cutting weight, so their chin's not is there. The water is like in their brain, not all the way there like that. So yeah. Anyway, this fight could easily go to decision, and it could easily come down to who wants it more. So a decision or over looks pretty decent here. I don't think Nascimento is like that killer. I think in the submission grappling, he's a pretty solid, but Latifi's hard to take down. I can see this easily going to a decision, but again, I think it's a fight where the over is probably safe. Maybe over 1.5. Maybe they kind of thinking like I said, I don't know where. Again, I'm not looking at the odds enough. I haven't looked at them enough, so I'm not sure where they are. But this is all speculation. I'm speculating that they probably think it's gonna fight where it's gonna be the under, because the heavyweight fight and blah blah. Latifi about to retire, or thinking retirement, lean in retirement, coming in and out of retirement. So under the over 1.5 might actually be at decent odds, and you don't have to. And it probably covers the fact that it's probably fight might end in the second round later, but I would definitely think it's gonna be a first round finish for either guy. But nonetheless, a very tight fight, no matter how you think about it. But you kind of generally will lean to the guy that's like the actual heavyweight, only ever been a heavyweight, and who's still trying to, rise up in the game. So yeah, decisions and overs looking good for me right there. I don't know about finishes. Maybe if submission like high in that one, maybe. But even that, like, nah. I think TKO is better, maybe. But I think the best, safest bet, maybe add in there is maybe over with that one for sure. Next one, we got in the welterweight division, we got Orion Cosey versus Orion Cosey versus Gilbert Abrina in the welterweight division. And this is another odd one. It's a lot of odd fights on this one. But I think a finish is good in this one. Maybe over 1.5, maybe under 2.5, kind of in that range. I think it's like lean like second round. Both guys are at their best seemingly in the first round, seemingly. Both kind of struggle beyond that first round. So it's not a case like, oh, it's the Cosey brothers. Like, you're going in with a long, lanky guy who does well, long, lanky guy that's got cardio, and you get this Cosey brother who seemed like, when they both lost their fights, they seemed like they both were lost in the second round. They came out strong, steaming hot in the first round, Then they got stopped in the second round. But Abrina is not a guy that's going to be that guy that's going to be strong in the second round typically. Or at least he's not that much stronger in the second round than Cosey. And also, he dropped from middleweight to welterweight, and he's been inactive. So it's like a lot of different factors. Like, so it seemed like Cosey is the better option here. It's not like he like lost so many fights. It might seem like he lost 2 fights, but it's just because he has a twin. So they both lost, but they both, I think, individually lost like 1 time, or I think the other brother might have lost twice. But this one has only lost once. And yeah, he since bounced back, won a decision, won 3 rounds, did what he needed to do. And it's also like Abrina had the best takedown defense. So he's dropping down to a more technical, faster weight class. I feel like would have been better for him to stick at middleweight and work on his skills and stuff instead of trying to work on his weight cutting. I don't think that's going to favor him that well, but nonetheless, I think this fight kind of ended distance. Neither of these guys have shown to be like necessarily like marathon mans out here, and not the most technical on either side. But Orion Cost seems to be the more fleshed out fighter, more technical grappler, probably a little bit more technical striker. Well, Abrina might be a little bit more active striker, but I think Cosey has a slight technical advantage, and again, he has the grappling advantage. So whereas Abrina only advantage might be in tenacity and length, I guess, and size, and maybe striking output. But I think Orion Cosey should have that one, or maybe. But let me just go back to the actual theme and not get back to the old theme. But let's get to this theme. Again, this ain't about actual predictions. This is just me looking at the fights. The actual predictions again are quick picks and full card predictions, which are at least at the same exact fighters being picked, and not the method might shift. Like the round might shift a little bit. I know in those fights, but the fighter is always the same from the quick picks and the full card prediction video. And yeah. So definitely finished looking good in this one, because it seemed like second round was the perfect round to finish this one for either guy. But yeah, so over 1.5 could look pretty good. I don't think it's gonna be a first round finish for either guy, but second round looking the juiciest. So maybe under 2.5 or over 1.5, or just pick in the distance, and then maybe lean to the guy you like more in that one. And yeah, that might be the better pick. I said better pick right there. Next fight we have in the women's strawweight division, we got Karolina Kovacevic versus Vanessa Demopolis. And this one could easily go decision or in the distance. Whoever's the dog, I think Demopolis seems like a pretty good dog right now. This is talking about betting side. It's like a pretty good dog right now. So maybe like money line bet on Demopolis right here. And then money line bet on Demopolis. And Karolina Kovacevic, I feel like her only path to victory will, at this point in her career, when she's getting up there in age, you start to get up to age, the finishes become less and less likely. It's never like Karolina Kovacevic was this great finisher to begin with. And you always say, oh, she finished Felice Herrig, but Herrig is a fighter that was on the cusp of retiring, up there in age, veteran of the game, been around for a long time. You could finish fighters like, again, kind of roughly in your age, going on with a fighter that's, I mean, it's not like Demopolis is so much younger. She's still 3 years young, but she's newer to this UFC game, I would say. So it's like she's fresher, even though she's only 3 years younger. And she has less fights. So yeah, I think that's a big difference. And but again, I think Karolina can only win by decision, but I think Demopolis can win by decision, and she can win by submission. I don't think there's no knockout on either side, but decision is most likely outcome. But you're gonna say a fighter who could finish is gonna be Demopolis. It's gonna be Demopolis by submission. And we have seen Kovacevic has seen her struggle terribly in grappling against grapplers, like actual grapplers. Like Herring, has the 4-round skills, but again, 1 foot out the door. Had already physically lost her, so I think she kind of went there mentally defeated a bit as well. And I don't think Karolina, did she even submit that one-dimensional grappler with Silvana Gomez Juarez? So again, this goes back to what I'm saying. Not really the greatest finisher at no point in her career. So yeah, her likely outcome is this decision. So you trying to cover Karolina Kovacevic, you could put decision on a parlay, like on a hedge parlay. Because again, just pick decision. Don't pick Karolina Kovacevic by decision, but like decision, general decision, probably get around the same odds. And it's attached to like a hedge parlay, because again, Vanessa Demopolis can cover a decision as well. And if she wins, yeah, it's gonna cover that as well. Then maybe try to hit a submission or something. But hey, maybe to throw a general submission on, because maybe miraculous things happen. Like if the general submission is close to Demopolis submission, then general submission. Like anytime it's just close, like I said, sometimes you can see a guy just be like, oh, sub by him is plus 400, then a general sub is plus 300. Just cover it, because sometimes the other person will submit them. And it's not like you just trying to cover the biggest spread if it's like the odds ain't that off. But again, it's likely leaning Demopolis more so sub than Carolina getting any finish. But I think the closest best cover is probably like an over or general decision, as far as a hedge, if you just trying to cover the biggest spread, which both on women, regardless of win or lose, that option will cover. And yeah, like the overs in the decision in this one. But like maybe like on a separate parlay, that kind of mirrors that parlay that maybe you got confident picks in, like really, really confident picks in. And then you put that one attached to that parlay, or like attached to you like I guess mirror that parlay, and you just swap out maybe a straight or money line pick for Demopolis, and you slide a decision or over in that one in place of Demopolis. Yeah. Next fight we have in the lightweight division, we got Mahashate versus Vyacheslav Borshchev, and this one I'm not too sure of. I'm just gonna kind of just dance around this one and just go to the next one. Like it could go in the distance, go decision. Mahashate, he's a young kid with a lot of talent, but obviously still building, still growing. And it's not like we have seen him really fight a high level striker and beat a high level striker. What he knocked out? He knocked out what's his face? That I forget his name right now, but dude who just beat up Chase Hooper not too long ago. But yeah, that dude's striking defense is pretty terrible. And Mahashate just got him out of there quick, so he did it very quick. It was the case he went out there and beat him for 3 rounds. But regardless, he should have. Yeah, Steve Garcia has a lot of striking holes, or big glaring striking holes. It was like it's not like a case he just beat such a clean technical strike. Steve Garcia is definitely open for a lot of dings, and he hit him with a lot of dings and got him out there. So I think Borshchev's striking defense off is a lot better. We get rocked by Dakota Bush in that fight, so it's not like his is the greatest either, but it's definitely nowhere near as bad as Steve Garcia. But offensively, I feel Borshchev is a higher level striker than Steve Garcia. But hey, until they fight each other, we don't know. They all roughly around the same level until proven otherwise. But I do think Vyacheslav Borshchev seemed like the more well-rounded fighter right now. The height difference ain't all that great. I feel like that was maybe one thing you could probably lean heavily, well, not heavily, but a good thing to point out for Mahashate. But he's only 1 inch taller, and now he only had like 2 inch reach advantage, which could be a big thing if you use it right. But again, Mahashate ain't like this such a great talent. He's not like no young John Jones or nothing. Like nothing like that. He's a solid young talent, but he ain't no super special talent. But yeah, I don't really know which way this fight goes just yet, or which way generally is the best way to try to hit the broadest spectrum when putting the money on this one. So yeah, on to the next one. We got Michael Johnson versus Diego Ferreira in the lightweight division. I'm gonna run through this real quick. I think the best way to hit this one is in the distance. I think if Johnson wins, it's in the distance. If Diego Ferreira wins, it's in the distance. And I think Diego Ferreira, you're really feeling spicy. I think second round submission is probably the best bet for Diego Ferreira. Because Johnson, coming out first round, he's very good, moving his feet very well, stick you to the cage and start teeing off on you like he did against Moises. But then second round, made opponent get a little bit desperado, and they made the initial to take the double leg, the singles not working. Then maybe you could try to get funky out there, maybe try to roll for an ankle lock or something, or maybe try to do some ankle lock trip or some type of thing, do something funky, just force him to get a grab situation out. And then Diego Ferreira should have a good, should be able to dominate once he gets, secures the position or secures the submission over Johnson, especially in the second round. So yeah, I've seen Johnson look pretty good in rounds, or pretty good through whole fights, like look good in first and second round. And then the opponent finally get a takedown, they just start mauling him, whether it be in the second round, but it's typically like after the first round. Typically after the first round, and most likely in the second round. And yeah, so you feeling spicy, second round sub for Diego Ferreira will probably be your best bet, or just maybe this general sub or Diego Ferreira sub, however you want to play. But definitely like that, you really feeling spicy or whatever, trying to hit it on the nail, maybe. Like this is not me picking Diego Ferreira. This is me saying like, are you really feeling the Diego Ferreira side and you trying to go all in on Diego Ferreira side? Second round sub look the best. But I think the one that's gonna cover the best spread is in the distance. And hey, you could say Michael Johnson first round. You can say Michael Johnson second round. I think first round Michael Johnson or second round Diego Ferreira. That's where I'm kind of leaning right now. But I think in the distance covers both. Whereas the outcomes obviously would be different. Johnson would probably be a knockout. Ferreira would probably be a submission. So in the distance covers both, or maybe under 1.5, or maybe under 2.5, whatever you can get in there. But yeah, probably more so in the distance. Probably still getting that decent odds. and playing how you want to play. You want to play it in a parlay, you want to hedge parlay, you want to try to cover both outcomes, or try maybe, I don't know, maybe trying to do an over 1.5 or something. I don't know how you're trying to do it. But regardless, I'm feeling like in the distance is the best, the I guess the safest, most likely outcome in this one. And I'm not saying to bet the whole house on it, but I'm saying this is the most likely outcome. Is going to end in the distance. And also Diego Ferreira on his side, he don't really defend punch that well. Like Johnson doesn't do that well once he gets taken down in the grappling department. And Diego Ferreira, like even when he was on his best streak, he was really using his chin as it's his defense. He's walking forward, taking shots, getting rocked, and just keep coming at his opponent, and eventually just cutting them off, getting a hold of them, and then dominating them in the grappling department. It was like he wasn't coming. His striking definitely improved offensively, but it was still like his defense still wasn't all that great. Which is like he was taking shots better, and he was on Terminator mode, getting rocked, and still coming at his opponents, and actually being able to touch him with clean shots, and not just being, I guess, a guy that just only has grappling. Like his offensive cleaned up, but his defense was still terrible. Even when he did make his striking improvements, really I felt mostly improved. And maybe a little bit durability, which is not really technique, and also offensive, output and power on his punches and stuff and kicks and whatnot. And technique on those, but defense never really made no big improvement. So that's still dang, pushing 38, using your chin as a punching bag or using your chin as a shield. Not a good look. It's not like you Judober, and Judober just got knocked out himself. So you're not Captain Chin, and Captain Chin just got knocked. So again, that just show you like your chin should never be your defense. Kevin Gastelum, you as well. Your chin has been your defense a lot in your career. I don't think he has yet been fully knocked out, but he has been dropped several times, but he has not yet been fully knocked out. But you keep doing that, eventually it's going to happen to you. Next fight we have in the welterweight division, we have Andre Fialho versus Joaquin Buckley, and this definitely like an under. Fialho's a finisher, Buckley's a finisher. It's looking like an under. Buckley dropped down to welterweight. Both guys around the same skill level. Typically, the guy that's already at the weight class, roughly around the same skill, will win. So it kind of looks like Fialho should win, but it's not me picking Fialho at all. It's just me saying, looking like Fialho probably should win this one, but I'm definitely not setting stone on anybody, literally. In reality, I might really be leaning Joaquin Buckley right now, but again, this is not me picking Joaquin Buckley. I might be leaning him, but his story seems like it's leaning on Fialho's side. Me, personally, I feel like I'm kind of leaning Buckley, but historic-wise, like it's Fialho, so I'm not sure just yet. And Buckley seems more well-rounded, or at least like he'll be able to mix in the rest one. I feel like Fialho just going to be looking to headhunt it. So this might go a lot of ways. A decision definitely be likely if Buckley seems to just go, this wrestle mode like he did against what's his name, Al Hassan. So a decision is definitely on the table for sure. So you may pick this decision like general decision because again, Buckley might go wrestle mode on Fialho. But most likely the outcome is in the disc because both guys are typically finishers. But hey, we have seen Buckley when the option is there to wrestle. We have seen against Al Hassan go full wrestle mode, or at least largely wrestle mode to beat Al Hassan. And I wouldn't be surprised if he did that against Fialho either. That's all I'm saying. So I think the one I like the most is definitely in the distance, but I could definitely see a decision happening. So maybe just throw general decision out there potentially, and hope to cover that. Or maybe just throw Buckley decision out there because I don't think the odds. Like I said, it all depends on the odds. The odds roughly the same for Buckley decision as general decision. Then yeah, that's a decent hedge for this one because Buckley could cover that. I don't think Fialho covers the decision. But yeah, I guess in that case, you don't think Fialho wins by decision. You only think he wins by knockout. Yes, the head just go full on Buckley if the odds ain't that different. If the odds are like different like that, this is plus 800 Buckley decision versus like general decision is minus 110 or something. Like, hey, just go with the Buckley decision or something like that. If it's like something like that, 300, 100 difference, 400 difference. Yeah, I understand you. Especially if it's like one's in the minus and one's in the plus. Like, definitely, just go with full-on Buckley decision is your hedge. But again, it's not me picking any fighters right now. I'm just guesstimating and examining the card. Again, this is first look. This ain't no actual prediction. This is just first look. You find it interesting, you find it interesting. If you don't, you don't. If you want to watch it, don't want to watch it. If it didn't get 2 views, I'll stop posting and I'll just like stick to this, what I'm already doing with the quick picks and the full card predictions and such. And next fight, we got a catch weight. We got women's 120. It was supposed to be flyweight, but I guess it's supposed to probably be strawweight, but I guess somebody couldn't make weight, so short notice adjustment. I think I don't know. I forget. I think Godinez is coming on short notice. I think another interesting thing, if it's Godinez coming on short notice, Godinez hasn't been doing great on short notice fights, to be honest. Unless you're going there with one-dimensional fighters like Silvana Gomez Juarez, but Ducote is not necessarily a one-dimensional geezer like Silvana Gomez Guarez. So yeah, women's 120. Well, women's catchweight 120. Emily Ducote versus Lupita Godinez. This fight definitely like decision. I think Ducote is well-rounded enough. I mean, a finish is definitely on the table. I'm not saying, but I'm saying most likely probably over 1.5, probably good here. I feel like Godinez finish not gonna be like a first round finish. I feel like it'll be like a wear down third round, late second round finish. So under 1.5, looking pretty juicy there. I need again, Ducote's not Silvana Gomez Zara. She has good round of skills. She might really just focus on striking, but she at least has decent enough grappling skills and decent enough grappling awareness to, be able to hold her own on the ground. Probably might get held down or spend a good amount of time and had to defend some subs. And Godinez might actually literally dominate that aspect of the game. But it's not gonna be like she's like gonna have no answer or just gonna be just a victim on the ground when she gets to the ground. It's like she gonna do all right, but she ain't gonna be winning on the ground if she on her bottom. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying she could at least defend herself well enough on the ground. That's all I'm saying. I think Ducote is the more technical striker, but I think Godinez, she stays on her P's and Q's, don't get sloppy. I feel like she should be able to hold her own with her on the feet and then be able to mix it in takedowns. And so, again, the over is looking good. Over 1.5 at least looking good here. Decision, again, looking like the most likely outcome, but I definitely could see a finish for Godinez, Ducote. I see if Ducote wins. I think her finish is probably likely going to be a knockout if she does finish. And I don't see the high likelihood of her finishing Godinez. So I really like it. The finish is on Godinez side, submission or decision. Well, yeah, her finish is submission, and she got more options, submission or decision, whereas Ducote's kind of leaning this decision at this point. And she couldn't even put away an old, what's her name? Jessica Panay. So not really liking her finishing ability just yet in the UFC. She looked pretty good when she was an Invicta, knocking with Daniel Taylor out, but so far I have not seen that killer from her in the UFC yet at all. So yeah, likely general decision. You go looking for a finish, probably Godinez submission. I'm not saying a Godinez TKO. I'm saying Godinez like sub out her if she does get the finish, but overs and decisions, and you go and look for a finish. Just Lupita Godinez sub. That's looking like the juiciest one or the juiciest one. So next fight we got in the middleweight division. We got Edmund Shahbazyan versus Anthony Hernandez, and I've been seeing a lot of people, not a lot of people, I've seen like 3 people. That's enough for me to say a lot of people. I've seen 3 people saying, not 3 predictors, or not to my knowledge predictors, but at least people that's kind of in the, at least talk about MMA and bet on MMA. Like I said, where they were like fully a personality or fully a platform, or they just a person, like, I got a Twitter, or I got an IG or something, or I post on Tapology and whatnot. Kind of saying like, talking like Shahbazyan, like, and I think something like probably like, matter of fact, when I look in the comment section tab out, I think most people picking Shahbazyan. When you look at the actual people who picking, most people are picking Hernandez, but when you look at most people commenting are picking Shahbazyan. But I'm like kind of confused here. I might should my confidence from average or whatnot, or I don't know. But I'm still kind of under the impression that Shahbazyan still has not. Matter of fact, it's no but he still has not addressed the grappling issue yet. Like he beat a buff, muscle bound striker with a little bit of judo and no cardio on a skid, losing to everybody like in the second round. And he beat him in the second round. He beat him just the same as everybody did. Maybe a little bit easier, but still roughly the same script. He just followed the script everyone else beat him by and did the same thing. After riding like a 3-fight losing streak, hasn't really won a decent fight since like 2019, 2020. So I don't know how people are really even trying to rally behind him. Maybe they're just rallying behind him over the odds are good. He should not be, Hernandez should not be minus 300. Like, but what has Shahbazyan done? 1 win in like 3 years on a 3-fight skid. When he get put on the ground, he just turned into a victim every single time. Brunson embarrassed him. Hermanson embarrassed him. Well, when Hermanson did get him down, and Imavov, who's not even really the most aggressive grappler, pressuring him up, did well on the feet, and then just dominated him on the ground as well and finished him. So, like, you still have not addressed that area of your game. And Hernandez has been looking pretty good in the grappling department, going for getting 8 takedowns on people, dominating him, looking cardio, looking phenomenal, looking like he's trying to be middleweight Merab Dvalishvili at this point. I'm not saying he is Merab. I'm not saying this, not saying that, but I'm saying it's impressive how many takedowns he's carrying out there at a higher weight class. And it's impressive his pace and continue to wrestle and grapple. It never really looked tired as of late. I don't know if he's on that EPO or not, but he's been looking good. That's what I'm saying. I'm not installed, I'm not speculating, but he's been looking good in the grappling department. Obviously, Shahbazyan could be obviously a bigger step up in competition for him, as well as Hernandez is a step up, obviously a big step up from Shahbazyan's last win. Yeah, from Shahbazyan's last win. But let's get to the video concept, I guess. I think overall, I would say in the distance, probably the best one. Shahbazyan, if he wins. Well, Shahbazyan could win by TKO or sub. I feel like Hernandez could win by TKO or sub. It's going to be, I think all of Hernandez wins in this one are on the ground. And I think all the Shahbazyan wins are set up with striking. Like Shahbazyan maybe hurt him on the feet, and maybe get some shooting in, get some like a Darce choke or something, or a guillotine, or a barrel roll, whatever they call it, gator roll or something like that, which is still kind of like a Darce, but hey, and catch him after hurting him, or like so either he knocks him out or he hurts him and then gets some sub. Whereas Hernandez takes him down and grinds him out, stem him past the first round, continue to take him down, pound on him, and maybe get a TKO from mount or something, or TKO from back mount, or subs him or whatnot. So again, Shahbazyan, his likely outcome all sets up from the feet, whereas Hernandez, most of his outcome likely sets up from takedowns and control. But I feel like Hernandez could win more. I feel like he could win beyond the first round. He could win a grueling, tiring fight. With Shahbazyan, I feel like his fight needs to be almost perfect, or he has to be literally gassed out, tired, and find that right shot, or hopes Hernandez slows down or something. And they both tired. He finds that right shot. Whereas I think Hernandez could win a tired, grueling decision. He could win a tired, grueling TKO, tired, grueling submission, or matter of fact, or just a high pace fight where it's grueling for Shahbazyan, but Hernandez, at least have seen, getting framed and what's his name, Baralt, like put in a high pace, but still going, not mouth breathing, not heavy breathing, nothing like that. Still just continuing to work, and beat the life out of these opponents and wrestle and grapple the life out of these opponents. So I have not seen that from Shahbazyan at any point in his career. But yeah, in the distance, looking the best. And I guess you depend on how submission and KO props are, what the kind of the odds makers are looking at, and how you're gonna gauge which place to play best at. But in the distance, definitely looking good, because I feel like Shahbazyan hasn't been looking good, beyond 1.5. Hernandez has been looking great beyond 1.5. Shahbazyan will win. I feel like against Hernandez is going to be by finish. In my opinion, I feel like it's going to be by finish. If Shahbazyan does win, it's going to be by finish. And Hernandez, if obviously he wins, it's going to probably take a couple rounds, or at least over that one fight. Shahbazyan going to need to be there under 1.5. Hernandez going to need that over 1.5. But Shahbazyan has seemed like pretty much a dead fish after getting mauled on the ground or having to spend some time on the bottom, getting punched in his face, like he just starts to wilt. So a finish could likely be there. So in the distance, a general in the distance, or I don't know, maybe try to pinpoint that over 1.5 or that under 2.5, which one you feel like it's going to hit. Because I feel like it's going to hit kind of in between those two. And you got to find which one is actually hitting over 1.5, or yeah, or the just like slightly under. Or so you want to hit that under 2.5 and still cover that all. So maybe under 2.5 is the safest, but I feel like over 1.5 you might be able to get the best value. But yeah, next one, this video 40 minutes long now. Yeah, main event, we got in a women's strawweight division. We got Mackenzie Dern versus Angela Hill in the strawweight divisions. This is a weird one as well, but I'm just going to try to make it quick and not drag it out. I think Hill, this a decisionator, so if you going to pick Hill, I guess hedge with Hill. Just pick Hill decision. She's not much of a fan. Matter of fact, let's pick Hill general. She's probably going to be a dog here. So let's pick Hill general if you're going to hedge. Maybe feeling juicy Hill decision. Dern has yet to be stopped, so Hill decision is probably good. Matter of fact, go Hill decision. I don't think she's going to finish Dern if she wins. It's going to be a decision. But Dern, if she wins, I feel like submission is the outcome. I don't think Dern's going to win, but by matter of fact, she can win it by decision, but I think she likely will tap out Hill. But maybe you just go, like I said, you're trying to cover the best spread, maybe general decision for your hedge, and then maybe lean Dern submission. But I do feel like Hill's only path to victory seemingly has always been mostly decision, especially at the highest level. And I think Dern gonna have a lot of issues with Hill on the feet. And it's also like Dern got like the worst takedown offense in the whole game of UFC right now, the whole sport and the whole organization right now of UFC. Not the game, not the league, but what is the league? It's an organization as well. But yeah, in the whole organization, she got the worst takedown offense. So that could be an issue, but I feel like kind of like it's gonna need be that. Matter of fact, let me say another thing. She has at least been somewhat improving her takedown offense, and has at least been like 1-2 rounds where she does get her opponent down and does very well against she got it against Zhao Nanyan. She had at least 2 good rounds of control with her grappling that one. Did a lot of damage when had some good submission to him. And what's her name? Marina Rodriguez, I think she had like 1 round or a round and a half. So she at least been in the rounds. I think she will be able to keep that up consistent. But I think with Hill, she'll be able to get a finish over Hill, or should be able to get a finish over Hill. But again, not my prediction right now. I'm trying to see, like, I feel like she can get a submission if she wins. And again, it's all about how the odds kind of line up. But interesting matchup for sure. I feel like if Hill truly locked in, she should win this one. She'd be the stuff the takedowns of Dern. She's slow, striking sloppy, and should be the stuff to takedowns pick her apart. But it's MMA. You can't trust people's fight IQ. Like this should be this should be that. Hill actually should have won a couple fights that she did lose, but it's like she always kind of struggle once you get to like the bigger names in the weight class. No matter how big or whether they're not as big anymore, it's like she started to get the bigger names in the weight class. She started to lose. But you know those like Lupita Godinez who's on the upcoming, the Emily Ducote's on the upcoming. She does well against them, but when she starts to get this level, she starts to choke. So, and if she's gonna choke, let her get choked, let her get tapped out. Would probably be a joint lock instead of a choke. But yeah. So submission Dern, I'm liking that play as well. I'm liking general decision maybe is ahead, but maybe this full out goal Angela Hill by decision because it seems like that's the only way she will win. But yeah, and there's a sneak chance Dern could get disfavored. You know, that's another reason how he'll lose. She'd be probably, in my opinion, winning the fight, but be so close, I guess, close enough that just like, well, we don't really like you in decisions, Hill, so hey, we're gonna go with her. Or at least we don't want you to be really among the upper echelon because we don't like you in that picture, so they kind of lean against her. Maybe it's political, maybe it's just bad luck, but ultimately, I feel like I'm liking Dern sub and I'm liking Hill on the submission. I mean, I liking Dern on the submission side. And I'm liking Hill on the decision side. Yeah, so that's really all. That's really what my thoughts are currently right now. No predictions, just looking at the betting side right now before really tapping into the numbers and better calculating it. And yeah, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.